So I'm Madison. I'm Shifu DeRu's office assistant in Atlanta. And I just wanted to give a few announcements of some things that we have coming up. So our podcast is called Leaps of Quantum Consciousness. And we're pushing back our launch date another couple weeks because we want to make sure that the content that we produce is thoughtful and high quality as much as we can. So in the meantime, we have some exciting events planned for the summer. KSF is coming up. It's June 11th and registration is open. So if you know that you're interested in competing, try to register as early as possible. And so you can register on ksfworld.org, and I'll leave a link in the chat for that. And then registration for the summer camp is also open. And this camp is geared towards kids that are 5 and up. We'll be hosting activities to help kids harness their energy and expand their inner consciousness in a positive learning environment. And I'll post a link to the summer camp in the chat too. So if you want to register for that, or if you have any questions, there's a lot of information on that webpage as well. And today we'll be talking about the ways that we can free ourselves from pain. And I think that in a lot of ways, the pain itself isn't the whole problem. It's also the fear of the pain that holds us back. Fear of being uncomfortable, of failing, of embarrassing ourselves. And so these are types of pain that keep us from reaching our goals. So I'm excited to get started with this discussion. Shifu DeRu will speak for a little while, and then we'll open things up for questions. So if everybody's ready to get started, then we can begin.
All right, good. Hello, everybody. I'm still getting familiar with this machine. All right, and without medicine's assistant on the side, and I'm totally lost. Medicine always help me out. Okay, now, pain. It's one of the things we're all familiar with. And I always say I'm especially familiar with pain because I had a pain all my life, accompanied with me all my life. I have a lot of cuts, a lot of breaks. Sometimes I do myself. I make a cut to see how long it takes to heal it. And then I did in my class. I remember 3 years ago, I demonstrated in my class, and then I want to see how long it takes to get rid of the pain. Oh yeah, at the moment you have a pain, it takes 30 seconds less, pain's gone. If you really face the pain, that's a physical pain. And we have all kinds of pains in our life. A lot of people probably familiar with headaches, backaches, and carpal tunnel syndromes, elbow pains, shoulder pains, sciatica pains, and operation pains. And mostly, I think those pain very temporary. If you face it, if you really watch it, I get rid of it right away. But it is psychological pain that lasts very long and sometimes endurable. I remember when I was young, the pain hit me so hard because when you were born in a family that everybody regard you as an enemy, that psychological pain is can be very, very intolerable to the degree you don't want to live. If you live, it's much more painful than die. Die is gone. And that's at least when I was a kid, I thought of it on the street. But when I was on the street, that kind of pain is much more endurable. You're hungry. You live in a ditch. You live without food. That pain is much more tolerable than the pain you meet people and you were regarded as an enemy and you failed that. Why? Why did I get out of this family? Why I was born in this family with a history of counter-revolutionary, with a history against the government, with a history of the past. Because my father was part of the old government, you know, the new government took over, and then you feel, why are you born in this family? You know, you're a landlord, you're counter-revolutionary, and everybody smashed you down. And I remember when I was 5, you know, when we were a kid, you know, you didn't know anything. And people play this Chinese pool, you know, this Kangleqiu, they call Kangleqiu. And then I was watching. And the boy who was 16, in the neighbor, from the country, you know, there were only one, you know, this one of these pool, it's a Chinese pool, it's very simple. People play, and the guy was cheating. And I just pointed, say, you know, I say he put his seat, you know, the ball into his own hole because he cannot get it, you know, because it's right over there. He cannot get it into other holes. He just put his hands over there. I just said it, and he said, "You come to revolution, boy, and you want to do things against me and hate me." Oh yeah, he hated me. Broke his can. He broke his can and stabbed me with his can, with a broken can. And he was not satisfied. He picked a rock, shoot, and hit my skull, and my skull open, blooding everywhere. I was only 5. I was only 5. That pain seemed to be unbearable, but I bared because there was no hospital. There was nothing in the countryside. Then people put some straw. Oh yeah, you pain. You were very painful, and it's swollen. And it was painful, but that pain didn't last that long, probably a few weeks. But sometimes the psychological pain can last months and months and months and months. Sometimes because not because other people, but because yourself. You bury in that pain. You know, some people, I remember when I was a doorkeeper at this factory. It's called a ship breaking yard factory. You know, ship demolition yard. They demolish all the old ships from foreign countries. That was 1970s. And I want to go to college. And then I need to study. So during the evening, I watch the boat and you know, the ground, the site, demolition yard site, so prevent people from stealing. And one day, about 3 o'clock in the morning, suddenly a group of people came to the boat. And then more and more and more. hundreds came. And I was shocked. They just came here to steal, to break, take home. How dare you guys are? Of course, I was a dog keeper, and then I fought with anybody. People stab me, people do all kinds of things to me. Oh yeah, I fought hundreds of people. I remember I broke one guy's ribs, probably broke 5 ribs, maybe. One guy broke his leg. Oh, they're screaming. And I was in pain, fighting pain. And I was stabbed many times. I still fight. That pain, you don't feel it. Why? Because you are in a fighting. Your adrenaline take over. Your endorphins take over. And afterwards, of course you have pain, you feel pain. But the hundreds of people, only one person, me, fought with hundreds of people. Anybody want to leave the factory? They either leave their head or leave their legs. That's just the moment I thought, because I defend my factory. You know, that kind of pain is very endurable. I remember the next day, the whole village wanted to kill me. Ask a factory to get me out. If they kill me, they leave the factory alone. The whole village, brigade, it's called 大队, brigade, came over. Want the factory to surrender by giving me out. And I was in hiding. The hiding was just exciting. There's no pain. I was basically, I didn't leave a factory. I was in one of the hole, one of the container. It was nothing. You cannot see anything. I stayed for 2 days. There was no pain. Why? Because I was glory. I did something for the factory. But when people shut into the confinement, they feel pain. But I didn't feel any pain. I feel great. So you can see, it's all about the mind. When the mind sees its glory, and you don't feel pain anymore. But sometimes you stay somewhere just for half an hour, you can feel pain. You can see the pain is produced by what? By thoughts. By thoughts. In the same factory, one day, one guy was wandering. I saw him wandering, and he was in pain, great pain. He was in great pain. I didn't give a thought of it because he's dressed really well, and he was wandering. Next day, I went to exercise. I do some qigong. After I did some qigong, I let it go and then turn around, and here he was, hiding himself right behind me in one of the cabins of the boat. The boat is about 100, probably 180 meters. You understand? 180 meters. That's a long, big boat. And then I put him down. And he was in pain. Why? Later on, we found out his girlfriend left him. That pain is so unbearable. Eventually, he was gone. And I remember I wanted to do that myself before. Not because of a girl, or not because of anything else, but because I came from this family. Give me so much pain. I could not do anything. Anything I do was always wrong. Yeah, I remember a group of people have so much pain together. We discussed how do we together to commit suicide. It's a bunch of college kids, how to commit suicide together, because we all came from families that are denounced by at the moment that policy. Some people came from the really good Communist Party's family, they're really, really high officials, but because they're fall out of the sight, for the wrong side of the government, political fight. So you see, the pain came from everywhere. You have political pain, you have marriage pain, psychological pain. All these are psychological pain, sufferings. In fact, they are human-made. We all made ourselves. I remember my teacher told me, when you transcend from this pain, when you transcend from this kind of suffering, this is short suffering, you see beyond that kind of suffering, you see another realm. That realm is a freedom, free from all this pain. No memories, no thoughts, no calculations, no emotions, none of these conformities. I remember when he was put into the well, it's a dry well. They put old days, they put these sweet potatoes into that well, dry well. It's a smell really bad. They put him inside for 2 weeks. No food, nothing. There was nothing in it. They stripped him. Later on, he told me that was the best 2 weeks he had for those days. Why? Because the torture by people, torture by the Red Guards, torture by the local peasants, torture by all kinds of people. At that moment, there was nobody torture him. And he was with earth. He was with that well, with some sort of little bit tiny wet inside of that well. I leaked some water in it. And he meditated. He leaked some water in it. He meditated. And people thought he was dead. No, they were surprised. He came up well. They want to beat him up again. So you can see how people endure in different situations in different ways. Sometimes we lost somebody. We have tremendous pain. The pain is not the person who died, the pain. That is your loss, your possession, your memory, your experience, your emotions caused a lot of pain. So those are the things I talk about. It's about kind of I'm a flip here, there, running over here, there. I don't want to get too specific. But at the same time, it's my experience. I see other people suffering to the degree they eventually gone. I remember one of my friends, when I was a kid, She really liked me. I remember, it's like a teenager, it's like 16, 15 in the countryside. Of course, I cannot love people. At those days, I think, I was a martial artist. I was a warrior, And then she tried to get a comfort, and then I told her, she didn't do well at school. She need to talk to her parents, but her parents give her such a pressure to go to college, to do some good grades, to do something. But she came from a good family, But I came from the dark family. She came from a red family. But it doesn't matter. Family gave her pressure, so much pressure. She came to see me, and I was not there. She looked for me. I was not there. I didn't know where I was. She could not find me to give her comfort. You understand? That are pressured by her parents because she didn't do as well as her parents wanted at the school. She went to the dam, the water dam. There's a big bridge on the water dam. She jumped into it, committed suicide. And because it was so painful, because that way she told me she was so painful, her parents, give her pressure. And, I was scared. I didn't know she was really want to do it. She told me about it. I said, I don't do it. I said, that's silly. Next day, next 2 days, she always asked me for comfort, and I would give her courage. She didn't do it, but she's wondering. But eventually, I blame myself for many days, for weeks on end. It was my pain. Why? Because I blame myself. Why I was not there for her? What happened to me? Why I should be there. I should be at least to talk to her. So you see, the pain shifted. I really want to be there, beat her parents up. Even want to kill her parents, because if not the parents did that, and then, there's no way she'd commit suicide. That's what I say at the moment, at those moments. So you see, I'm just telling you this. Probably most people experience one way or another some sort of pain. I helped a lot of people also to liberate themselves from pain. For example, during a hurricane, a lot of people suffered, especially in New Orleans. I was right there in New Orleans. All these days, I opened the school. Nobody opened the school. I was the only one opening the school. Get everybody in and tell them stories. What I met, I was shot here. I was shot at legs. I was in the dead bodies, and climb out of the dead bodies. I say, when you transcend from that moment, you see you experience some of the best thing other people never experienced. Why? You become stronger. If you learn lessons from it, so that pain can be a lessons, can be an obstacle course, can be something give you to liberate you, make you stronger. See whatever you see about it. How do you see about it? That is more important than anything. You can see, I can see all my life, the physical injuries, 刚小, this is nothing. I was in coma for 2 weeks, that's nothing. But a psychological pain is much more unbearable. But if you transcend from that psychological pain, without living in the past, without living in the 20 years ago, 30 years ago, even 2 weeks ago, let it go. Clean up your memories. Clean up your all that accumulation of that injuries, so-called injuries, psychological injuries, even physical injuries. I broke both wrists, my legs, my back, you name it. Everything was, everything somehow broke somewhere. But I'm fine. I have best health than ever today. That's 60 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, forget about it. If I don't forget these pains, I'm living with pain. No, I don't. I don't live with pain. Remember, I sent to everybody the video and medicine work on. I was doing qigong, meditating, right in the middle of the snow, with bare feet. I was one to bare the whole body, wear, this Chinese swimming short. I said, well, that's too silly. And then I did wear a little bit longer sleeve shirt and with bare feet, because I want to feel, not feel pain, because I feel the nature, and you don't feel pain anymore. Even though my feet, the whole lower body, all numb, I feel great. Why? You see differently. Because when I was a kid, I was training very, 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 you say very hard. No, when you are in training, you don't feel hard anymore. It's the time before the training that is the pain comes in. Because the division, it was so painful to get up, painful to go to the snow to do the training. When you're in the middle of the training, no pain, period. As a fighter, as a martial artist, I trained so many fighters. And then I tell them, the fighting, it's easy. Training is the thing, day by day. The pain comes before the training. After the training, during the training, there was no pain. Why after the training, sometimes you're overtrained and you definitely, and you get some pain over here, there. Next day, get over with it. So, I can say I experienced no less pain than anybody on this planet, period. But we can all free ourselves from that. Sometimes I can laugh at the past, because I got over with it. If you don't, you're going to bury yourself into it. It's who kill you? You kill yourself. I remember this, I remember that. Who remembered? You remembered. Has nothing to do with anybody else. You are the one kill yourself. You're the one bury the pain. You're the one living in the pain. You're the one living in the past, that memory. Let it go. That's how we do it. You have 300 million cells. Remember, 300 million cells die each minute. Each minute. Remember that. This is documented. Okay, it's scientifically documented. Each minute you have 300 million cells die, but you have 300 million cells birth from the division of the stem cells. You are changing every second, every minute, every day. In a few days, you're no longer yourself. In a few years, you completely change yourself. Absolutely. But you still copy your past. You still remember this diseased state of mind, diseased state of the body, diseased state of old programs. That's the problem with each one of us. That's the pain of what I'm talking about. I remember one of the ladies, I watched, by a friend of mine from Virginia. Let me watch. This is one of his studies. She remembered the pain when she had an accident. She even lifted up her shirt. You see the big scar she cut. Remember, this is a 9-year-old girl. When she died, she was 20 or 19 years old, died as a man. She was driving this bus, and the bus flipped. He was cut. He died. When she was 4 years old, she told her dad, I live in such a village, exactly the village's name. Her father was a math teacher. And also her father. And her father had a friend who was also a math teacher, of course. And then they would discuss one day, because she said so many times, for like 20, 50 times, when she was 5, almost 6 years old, her father said, I've got to see, this kid, 4 years old told me, he said, this 6, she always say she lived in another village. She was a man, and she died by accident. What's wrong with her? She was a girl, little girl. I watched the whole film, and this gentleman from Virginia, psychologist, he filmed the whole thing because he did a lot of investigation on the people who died, and then we remember, and then reincarnation, okay, this sort of thing, because he didn't believe it at first. Later on, he documented like 5,000 documents. This girl is really convincing. And then the father told this guy came from that, not very far from that place she talked about. She said she used to sell firecrackers. The firecrackers, a lot of things from China, but one of the firecrackers, they named their own family's name. Even though they came from China, but they wrap it differently. They give a brand in this place, this little town in South India. And that guy was Hinduist, and he kind of believed that in incarnation somehow, even though he was a scientist. So he heard this math teacher told him. So he went to that place exactly like the little girl told her father. And he found out, wow, there were 9 families doing that firecracker business. One of the families' son died years ago. And he was shocked. He went to the math teacher. He said, and she was right. There was a family. There was a car accident. There was a boy, and he was just married. And he had a wife, and he died by car accident. That's your daughter. Everything described exactly the same. They have the brand. Wow. And this math teacher was just totally shocked. And the whole family went to visit that family. That family sort of like I saw them before. They embraced, they cried. And then the girl, the girl by now is 6 years old. They filmed, she walked in. She said, you guys changed the name of this brand. The brand used to be this name. I said, yes, we changed the brand a few years ago. See, she said exactly the brand name of the firecracker. They changed the name a few years ago. And she recognized everybody. And then even though she's this old, she has that memory of that pen of 20-some years ago. It's from another location. Because he died right over there, and that pen memory and carried. So this sort of thing is not just physical, it's a memory. That memory is not just the particular memory, it's the general mind. Sort of like stored in the cloud of the nature memory. Not because I'm a Buddhist, I believe these things. I never believed this until I did a lot of research. Even though I was at the Shaolin Temple, I didn't even believe it because I was not taught to believe these things in China. Because I was supposed to believe only one thing, communism. That's the only thing I'm supposed to believe. Yeah. Even in the Shaolin Temple, that's just reality. But, and I changed my mind. And one of my friends, you guys have all heard of him. I don't want to talk about his name over here because we have some Chinese over here. And he said, when he was a kid, he was a pickup because he recognized everybody of that Buddhist Lama from Tibet. That's why he was chosen. He's chosen not because he's so great, but because he remembered everything. He was a kid. He was a little kid. That's why they choose him because his memory. I remember he told me that there was a boy. I will tell you that later. We're gonna another story because otherwise we're gonna get too far away. All right, now about a pen, and he told me, yes, when he was young, he never thought of any pen, but later on, that pen all come from the mind. The mind, the particular mind made up the pen. Sometimes the thoughts made up pen because the thoughts begin to make more and more pen because the pen is already gone. but they still make up more and then remember this pain. It's the memory to get together for that pain, especially psychological pain. So over here, what I see, I remember things, but I don't remember sometimes vaguely remember the pain. Sometimes you just laughed at it. And the most important thing is that to let it go. Doesn't matter, physical pain or mental pain or so-called suffering. It is you can free yourself from all that. People say, how to do that? How to do that? I cannot tell you. Each person probably has one's own way. If you want to do it, here now, at any second, any moment, not tomorrow, when I have a pain, I meditate for probably 1 minute. Sometimes it's just a few seconds, it's gone. A few days ago, I remember I had teeth. Oh, it was tremendous pain. I just watched my pain. It was gone. Meditation. Get rid of any pain. What I say is meditation is real meditation. It's not just you sit over there, your mind wander around, with all kinds of crazy thoughts. No, you really sincerely in it. I remember one of my patients, Ray Blue. This 2-3 o'clock in the morning, called me. He said, I'm not going to able to live anymore because my pain is just unbearable. I haven't slept for more than 10 minutes for the last whole week. Never a single day slept more than 10 minutes. I ask you because I'm dying. Of course, his cancer and then penetrated into his bones, into his bone marrow, into his whole body. And he just unbearable. When he came to me, he could not stand. He could not sit. When he sat, boom, he fall. He fell at least 3 times. Eventually, he just lied over there. That's when he first time came to see me. After many years, I knew him for a long time. And I told him, if nobody can help him with his cancer, come to see me. After you did all these treatments, whatever. Eventually, they kick him out of the hospital. The medicine center from Houston. And then he did something at Emory University, and went to Houston, back to Emory. They say, well, it just has a few weeks. Let him just prepare. And his wife, it's documented. It's on my YouTube. Okay, Ray Blue. It's documented. I did documentation on him. I did a couple of documentations. He's one of them. That's tremendous pain. And you don't want to live. You want to die. Oh yeah, that's a physical, mental combined pain. Because you are such a devastating state. And then we sit down. And I was at a school, and I talked to him. So let's do some meditation. Just breathe. 1,000, 2,000. Breathe. 1, 2. He said, cannot breathe that long. I said, breathe shorter. Stop breathing. And then breathe longer. breathe shorter, breathe longer, breathe shorter. And then he was gone. I said, good. Next day he called me. He slept 2 hours. Wow. He never had that before. 1 month later, his kids came from Iraq, from Afghanistan. He has 3 kids in the army. Come back to give him funeral. He said they came to give me for a funeral. This first time I was able to walk, to sit. 1 month later, remember, he's already be able to walk, but not walk well. And we did an interview 6 months later. We did another interview 2 years later. The 2 interviews, you will see. It's all on my website. What I see is that human beings can be free from pain if you really, really want to do it. And his pain came from where? All his cancer came from where? United States government, because he's U.S. Airborne Division colonel. He was so mad with the United States government, with the army, with a lot of people, with Bush, with all kinds of people. That's why I'm not into any parties. I used to be into a Communist Party, even though because I was not a part of it. I was I was the enemy of it, but I would really believe it. Today, I don't see any parties. I want to free. I don't believe any parties or any religions, period. What I believe is cosmic consciousness. What I see is myself, because I can do it. Each one of I can do it, not depend on authorities or religions and parties or political parties, whatever parties they are. I don't see that. Why? Because my experience, my observation for the last 60-something years, even though I'm only 30 years old. And give me evidence, thousands of evidence to see we can all transcend from that pain, free from that pain, free from that dilemma, free from that memories, that thoughts, that self-suffering. So if Ray Brewer can do it at a moment, and this is recently, somebody sent me an article, my old article, it's my brother, my Kung Fu brother from the Shaolin Temple. And he was a really good artist, draw beautiful pictures. He's, like his calligraphy can sell like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 Chinese a year. That's a lot of money. But, he had a lot of bad habit. Eventually got him a cancer. His throat eventually infected. There's a bigger hole over here. Originally put a little hole to give him food, to give him lotion, give him to put some lotion into it, put some fluid food into his body. Eventually he cannot eat anything, he's dying. Human beings have such a tremendous power. I was there, everything is documented. That's all. I went there, first day, and I did a little bit meditation. I did a little bit Qigong. Try to see if we can connect, because his energy is so low. We worked together. 1 week later, I remember first day, I said, you need to get out of the hospital, otherwise I cannot treat you. Because I went to the hospital to see him. I have to get out of the hospital because I don't want to mess up with the hospitals, any hospitals. In the United States or China, doesn't matter. I don't mess up with the hospitals. So he moved to a hotel, and I began to do some meditation with him, do some Qigong. twice. I remember first day, the second day. Second day, he's much better. Third day, he could get up and begin to walk. He took him to lunch. Third day, DeRu came. I remember DeRu came, and this is all documented by the journalist, because the journalist asked, "Can you do it?" I said, "I can do it." So I went with him. For me, this is a comfort brother. I spend my own money, everything. It's all free. It's not I save people's life. It's he can save himself if he get up, get himself together, without depending on on anybody. So what I gonna want to do is give him a little bit of communication. He was so painful. It was so painful because it's rotten. It was a big hole over here. He's dying. And his sister said, "Are you good? Are you joking? You want my brother to be out of the hospital? He has a big hole here. He's dying. What are you talking about?" His sister. I didn't want to talk to her because she didn't believe me. And I said, "Well, get your sister out of the way, because I don't want anybody who has that controversial energy frequency, belief system frequency interfere." I said, "Get your sister out of the face. Otherwise, I'm not going to do anything." So we sent her sister back home. But his wife will really, believe what I do. So we're together. 3 days later, we have documents. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, we send him home, totally closed. There's a big hole over here, totally closed, right over here, totally closed. He was able to eat it, and in 1 week. It's all documented. So human beings, what I'm saying is that human beings have tremendous power within themselves. Don't blame me. Do yourself. Every experience is different. So pain is not really that frightening. It is you can be frightening. You can free yourself from pain. You can keep that pain in your life forever until you die. And you can carry it to another life, just like the girl. That's what I say. Free yourself from the pain, free yourself from the memories, free yourself from any of the old genes, because genes can be transformed. Genes can be rewritten. The genetic code can be rewritten. Remember that, what I said. It's documented. Today's epigenetics give you thousands of evidence to tell you that expression of the genes. So you don't have to inherit anybody from anybody of your family. You can free from all that diseased state or pain or suffering state. I can talk this forever, but I want to see any questions. Anyone want to give some your questions? Yes.
I've found that meditation has helped me, because ever since you taught me how to meditate, I have rheumatoid arthritis, and if you focus on the pain, it makes the pain worse. It's like anything else. If you focus on something, you're going to improve at it. So by meditating and relaxing and not focusing on the pain, I find that the pain subsides or even disappears. And that is a positive reinforcement loop. And then I can focus back on meditating and breathing. And that helps me out throughout the day, and then I can focus on something else. So it has helped me tremendously. And I appreciate it. And I want to thank you again for it.
Thank you. That's good. So we all can do something to ourselves. You know, over here, I'm not propagate to depend on somebody. You know, that's one of the things that I always see. I'm propagating self-health, self-reliance, self-meditating, self-freedom, self-realization, self-enlightenment. You can. Every one of us can do it. If a person are like me, I don't have any difference. I don't see any difference between me and Tom. We're the same human being. Even though he look a little bit, hair a little bit different, because my hair, and it's inside, you don't see. His hair pop up. So, so the inside, internally, we are the same. So if I can do it, he can do it. If he can do it, you can do it. Every one of you guys can do it. That's what I see. Anybody else?
Okay, I do have a question.
Yes.
Now this past week, my lower back has been really, really, really hurting bad now. Every once in a while, it just does that period because a couple years ago, on the job, I apparently had over time, I guess, I got a herniated disc in my lower back and my middle back. And sometimes it flares up and causes inflammation. So that's what it did this week. And it made it very difficult to move, just function, to get out of bed, to squat, you know what I mean, in the restroom or whatever, just period, just moving. Now today, over, it just takes a couple of days for it to get back, and back straight again. So what other, can I do stretching exercises? Would that help? Or, you spoke about breathing. What types of breathing techniques would you suggest?
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I'm
taking medicine.
Yes, I'm gonna do some breathing with you before we end of this meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Of this webinar, I'm gonna do some breathing with you, and a lot of things you can do. And I do right now. I'm helping actually Scott, and he had a similar situation with you, and he has two bulging disc and a hernia disc, and he also has and his neck also has because of the fracture over here. It's not real fracture, but it's kind of squeezed. And so we had a tremendous pain. And then we probably did it for a few times. And he's basically getting much better now. And it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. And back problem is what I did in my medical years. I practiced medicine at the Wuhu, Anhui province, #1 hospital. For Tuna, I did Tuna for 2 years and acupuncture. So we use contraction, okay, the bed contraction, and we use patches. We use that, the physical things. And then I found out one of the best way is to qigong, to do exercise yourself. When you get out of the situation, at the beginning, of course, people like over here, we have Dr. Shu over here, and she helped a lot of people. And when I was in Washington, D.C., and she practiced medicine, in Chinese medicine. We have a lot of friends do that. And definitely will help you, but eventually, I see all the patients I met and I worked with, not always ask them to rely on themselves, to do a lot of practices on the physical and the mental, breathing, qigong, and Zen Taigong, and then also, and of course, a lot of people have other, food problems, cause inflammation. And because you have the old memories, you've got to get rid of the old memories of that pain. And because it's going to be, especially on certain days, it comes occur again, on certain days. Those are the memories. Those are the part of the information. And so recently, I remember one of my friends in Shanghai, they tried to map up, use acupuncture system to map up the 24 disc to see the information bank, we call it information bank, to document it and use different data, use computerized to see what they can do. They did a lot of other things. But what I suggest, it doesn't matter technology and combined with Chinese medicine or Western medicine combined. But the best way to me is self-health. It's meditation, it's the breathing, it's some of the exercise will help you to really get your back in shape. Just like Scott, he did it with me for 2, maybe 3 weeks now. He say, it's tremendous because I cannot sleep. I cannot sleep well. And then I have feel numb. Now my numbness is basically gone. I still have some cramp here, there, but when my numbness on my hands is gone because his neck problem. So, we did only for 2 weeks. So what I see is that mostly I only did twice with him, but mostly he had to work on his own. Some of the breathing exercises, some of the mechanical exercises, some of the kinetics exercises he does, and it did help him tremendously. My friend Ding Ping from China also did something, and I only did a video with him. And of course, he did also acupuncture and also did acupressure, and then eventually he was on his own. So many ways we can do it. These things are not that difficult. Yeah, and can be done. Yes, but you have to really actively get engaged. You live in Georgia, right?
Yes.
So just come talk to me, and then you're a student, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just started.
I remember I saw you. Yeah.
Mhm.
And talk to me. I will help you. Okay.
Okay, I'll be there on Monday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And next week I'll be back next week to Georgia. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm in Alabama right now. Okay, good. No problem at all. Okay, let's this is definitely you can get that straightened up.
Shifu,
Thank you. Yes.
I have a question. Speaking about psychological pain, I think from my experience, the pains in my bodies was related to psychological
Yeah, sure.
pain.
Okay.
And working with people who have psychological pain, it's the meditation the same, are having experiencing some, I guess, resistance to share with people for meditation, to heal psychological pain, or sometimes people don't identify. It's just become so normal, living with that pain. It's harder to identify maybe than a physical pain, like a back pain or a knee pain. So could you speak to that for a moment?
Sure. Psychological pain is definitely, as I said, sometimes it can be intolerable. And I certainly, experienced plenty of them. Not because my background, but because all kinds of things happened. I remember one time, and I told you guys, I lost all my hair because my family already gave me enough trouble, and then I broke my arms, and then I just got into this team, and then they really, really liked me because I can give them a lot of age on the team, and then I'm done, and then back to the homeless situation. So it's definitely psychologically, and you just kind of had a little bit hope, and then suddenly, and all the old memory back, it's all kinds of crazy things back, and then I live in this misery, and then my hair all gone, just overnight, basically overnight, all hair gone, all my hair gone, and then that's got me really into meditation, and consistently, and then I never left meditation since that day. I was a teenager. And before that time, I meditate. That's why a lot of people say, "I meditate." I say, "Oh, really? Are you really meditating?" Because when you're really meditating, you get into it, and then you not only just breathing, you're not think anything, but you are diving into that realm of total different world, the world of emptiness, the world of just energy, the world of total dark or total white or total anything but thoughts. So when you are in that realm, you are in healing. You are in a total different realm, a different dimension of time, space. That's what it is about. And that takes tremendous energy. So a lot of people use a lot of energy outside, how to find, identify, do something. No, you don't. Let it go. Let it go. How to let it go? I don't know. My way, only way, I start with breath. I start with breath. I count breath. The breath gives the energy. And then I begin to empower myself. And then we get into. So that's why I developed these things called a 999 med breath. 999 med breath is really, really pretty good in China. And also good with a lot of people, anybody who did that. Even Tom did some of the 999 med breath. Tom just shared with you about his pain, his meditation. That's from the 999 med breath. And the Shifu can give you a lot of evidence we had in China. Is that right, Shifu?
Sure.
Yeah, Shifu is the leader from my Chinese group. She's the Chinese team leader, and she's a beautiful volunteer, and she did a lot of great things, for me in China and for everybody, for herself in China. And we have a lot of people in that group, and a lot of people say they're addicted to it. I'm glad they're addicted to it, not drugs, but to themselves, And I remember this morning, I just listened to Guo Jianwei. Is Guo Jianwei in this group? Come today? No, he didn't. Guo Jianwei didn't come. Okay, that's fine. Guo Jianwei and actually was leading in that group. Just like Guo Jianwei told me. And when he was in hospital, he found me, and through somebody from England found me, and he was basically he and his team, and those days probably devastated because leukemia, his leukemia in a situation, when he want to do some meditation because give him energy at least. And then I told him he may not need a bone marrow transplant. No, nobody believed me. They thought I was joking. I was a clown, something, or cheater, or fraud. But a few months later, and the evidence showed that he didn't need it. Bone marrow transplant. He's a team leader. However, for him, for example, we along with many others, I don't want to see people get into meditation or to be in image. I'm a meditator. I'm a master. I'm a something. I want to see everybody pure off. Doesn't matter who you are. You're president. Get rid of your presidency. If you're some leader, get rid of your leader position. Get rid of the position, get rid of labeling, get rid of the images, get rid of anything, just as a being, as a human being, conscious being. That's most important. A conscious being that with self-natured intelligence, self-natured immune system, self-natured energy, conscious, coherent frequency that transcend in resonance with the conscious matrix of the cosmos. That's all it is. You can use God. Okay, connect with God. Whatever you want to connect. What I see We all have that power. That's why Jesus did a lot of powerful things in the past. It's not a, Jesus can do it, you can do it, I can do it, everybody can do it. That's reality. But people didn't believe that. That's the problem. And Gautama did it. Okay, people who make释迦牟尼. Why he did it, you cannot do it. No, we are the same being, okay? We can all do it. And this is the only thing I see is the information. You get the right information, right consciousness, you're on the right channel and the right direction, and you're going to be in the right transcendence. Okay, that's what I see. Okay, start with the basic breathing. That's why, Catherine, you study at the Shaolin Institute. And the most important thing you can probably relate to teach, the people who work with you work with, and then, just start with the breathing. And I will, as we go, we work more on those things. Okay. Thank you. Anybody?
Hi, Shifu.
Hey, Neo. My beloved Neo. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Would you say that pain is pretty much a conditioned response that becomes automated? And
absolutely.
We need to get rid of pain is to uncondition ourselves.
Beautiful. Yes. That's why I say memories, programs, because we're programmed to believe pain. We're programmed to see pain. We're programmed. That's why I did that, what I did. I scratched the whole here. I think it's, it's healed. Is it healed? Yeah, it's healed. See? I scratched the here. I just used this wood, the staff, our staff, scratched the whole thing, and then you can see, I don't have pain. I can have pain, but I don't have to have pain. You can transcend from that. So it's the condition, it's programmed. We have that pain. Even though, say for example, you have injuries. And was it a few days ago? Oh yeah, Lisa, that's right, Lisa. Lisa just had an accident about a week ago. Lisa came from Hawaii to take a private license and with me for a few days. And one day, he could not show up. I think so the second day, he could not show up. He said, can I show up later? I said, I'll show up later, no problem. And she told me she had a car accident. And her car totally crashed. She cannot even take herself out. They have to use, machines to cut the vehicle to get her out. Yeah, she said she meditated. The whole time, she said, I don't have pain. I just meditate. Of course, later on, she went to the hospital. They need to check this, check that. Later on, she had a little bit of pain. She got back to meditation. And then that day, she came over here. I said, okay, you hear pain, that pain. And then we meditated for 3 hours. She said, oh, I feel tremendous energy. So you can see when you change your mind, change the genes, change your blueprints, change all that perception, that information, everything changed. That's all it is. That's why I say I can cut myself, and then I can say I'm going to be no pain at all. I never take pain pills. Probably I haven't taken maybe at least 50 years. At least 50 years. Even though I had a surgery, right, on my nose. I said, they want to do this, do that. I said, well, I don't want any painkillers. No, I don't. And when they left, they have to give me, I threw right into the trash. Even the surgery. You see, It's you to see the pain, you know? I might know better than everybody else, you know? A lot of people, because they depend on the pain pills. They depend on this, they depend on that. And then they even have pain hospital. They even have pain clinics. Oh my goodness. They're full of drugs. All they do, I went over there. I said, what do you do? Oh, with prescription. They have people waiting lines just to get a prescription. That's the sad news in the United States. Everywhere else around the world. We actually can reprogram ourselves to unprogram ourselves to rewrite our desk. And that's really not just psychological pain, even physical pain. You know? You see over here, see cut? Do you see the cut? Do you see the cut? There was not a single pain, not a single moment of pain. You see the cut? It's pretty big. I decided not to have pain. With this cut, I don't have pain. Not a single moment I have pain. Isn't that amazing? No, it's not amazing. Everybody can do it. It's all just like you said, it's programmed. We programmed. Why we have pain? Because we want to, the body want to do something. You understand? Because pain give you warning. But if you can do something to heal already, and the healing started already, so you don't need that warning. However, most hospitals do not solve the problems. They give the pain to shut off the warning system. But the problem is still there. Do you understand? When the healing starts, pain is gone. But when there's no healing, but you use drugs, just the opposite. Drugs is cut the wire and cut the feeling, cut the warning of the pain system. You understand? That's what this problem is. When I cut this, I immediately send. It's just one of the things. I immediately send endorphins, send serotonin, and immediately send chemicals over there. How do you do that? Everybody can do that. Just by simple meditation. That's what it is. But people cannot do it because it's not that they cannot do it. They just don't want to do it. Or they feel they don't want to do it. They feel that I cannot do it. They already decided before they did anything. Just like Patrick's aunt. I told her, let's work together. Because the doctor already told me, I only have 3 months. I say, I have a lot of people who told me they have 3 months. You don't have to have 3 months. She didn't believe me. That's okay. 3 months, exactly 3 months, she died. You know, Red Blue is same thing. They told him, 2 months. He has five people. His commander-in-chief, his relative, 5 people had cancer, all stage 4. And he was the worst. And he survived, everybody died. They think they had the best medical services. I'm not against the medical services for any patients, okay? Especially trauma, it's beautiful. Medical service is beautiful. But a lot of things, human beings, they can heal themselves, okay? But sometimes medical services do just opposite. That's reality. It's reality. I'm just tell the truth, okay? Because I'm a good evidence of it. And I see so many people, evidence right in front of me. Just Lisa a few years ago. Oh, they came back, you need to do you have to do surgery, you have to do chemo. I say, well, if you want to go with them, you go ahead. He said, I decide to go with you. Think about it. She had an accident and she's strong. It is all in your mind. Read the book. It's called Believe. Oh, you read the book. Believe Biology by Bruce Lipton. He's supposed to come to my conscious meeting, a global Zen conscious conference meeting, but he has a conflict of scheduling. And his book gives you a lot of evidence too. He's he's a cell biologist, and he did a genetic research long time ago at Stanford and in a couple of universities. And he was the 60s. He did genetic research, and his evidence gives clearly the genes doesn't give you destiny. It is the environment. It is the information you put in give you the destiny. Whatever information you put in. If you put a cancer information, yes, you could have cancer. But if you have put a healthy information, cancer going to be changing. That's reality. Because he's given so many evidence. And we see so many evidence in live bodies. Friends, people see different treatments. And what I see, self-health is what I see. Probably the most effective is you make your decision. You decide what to do. And your perception, your conception. How do you perceive? How do you conceive? How do you believe? How do you perform? How do you live your life? That make a difference. This is widely researched in scientific field, not just what I said. Of course, I came from the Buddhist background or Christian background or whatever, from scientific background, from quantum physics. I've been studied for the last few years. Everything, moving towards that direction. Epigenetics, everything moving towards that direction. The same direction, just like I said. Program is the key, but that program, the mind, the condition, the mind, the condition, the body can be reprogrammed, can be rewritten. That's the beauty of it. Thank you. You're beautiful. Anybody else? Hey, Diane. Regina, Jordan, you guys want to say something? Okay, otherwise we're going to close it. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Shifu
Yes.
DeRu.
Yes.
This is Regina.
Hey,
Hi.
Regina. Hey.
I am healing
Uh-huh.
and I'm using your methods.
Okay.
My knee, I have a
Huh?
torn ACL,
Yes.
and believe it or not, I was going through a lot of pain the last couple of weeks.
Mhm.
And yesterday, I said to myself, I'm going to heal. And I was thinking about the Kung Fu forms.
Mhm.
And I decided to just do the forms, not with my legs, but with my arms.
Mhm.
And my legs started to move, and I actually started doing the forms with my legs.
Good.
My knee, Shifu DeRu, my knee
Uh-huh.
extended, and
Uh-huh.
I feel no pain.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I
Yes.
don't-
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, this is good evidence, And then another evidence I'll give you, the same situation as you are. Okay, we have Dr. Wen from FDA. Everybody understands the FDA, right? And she's from a scientist from FDA. She did drugs all her life. One day somebody called me, say, Dr. Wen, and broken, she had the lung cancer, and then now her femur was broken. What do you suggest? Everybody suggests surgeries, but with her situation, with her condition, we don't want to do surgery. But doctor said, no, there's no other way, because it's completely broken. And then I look at the film, and then I say, no surgeries. They thought I was crazy. I say, she will be healed, and let's do together, because let's struggle for 2 days to make a final decision. Then eventually they go with what I said. Later on, she sent me what her results. And then Dr. Wen, and of course, Shifu knows her pretty well. And completely healed. Now she the only problem is she worked 12 hours a day. And I said, don't work that hard. You're 70 years old. Don't work that hard. Sometimes she worked too hard. And she's back in shape. She's traveling. She was everywhere. 3 months later. So you see, that's the beauty of a human being. Doesn't matter how old you are. She's 70 years old. That's young. I'm only 30 years old, but she looks like only 50. Anyhow, so what I see is that we all have that innate healing ability. Unveil it. And we all have that inner intelligence. Unveil it. People have scared. People just have all kinds of pain. China, you look at China, it's totally closed. For this pandemic period, how many times I had to go quarantine for myself or shut myself down? I made thousands be exposed to COVID. I shut myself down 0 time. I expose to everybody. Well, I don't care. It's not I don't care. I know that I have the ability to handle anything. Why? Because we have been surviving for the last billions of years, even from another planet. Of course, a lot of people say, oh, the earth is, no, has nothing, I'm not from the earth. At least I know myself, I'm not from the earth originally. Where I came from, that's why I call myself the son of the cosmos. I came from the Big Bang. And before the Big Bang, the life continues. Continuum life without birth, without death. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. It's plenty of time. We close it. All right. Shifu, you want to say something? Diane, say something? Okay, if not, okay. Madison, take over.
Okay, I just wanted to thank everybody so much for coming today. I thought that this was a really great conversation. And just as a reminder for everybody, our podcast is Leaps of Quantum Consciousness, and that'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks. We're working really hard to make sure that it's the best that it can be before we release it. KSF is coming up June 11th. The link to register is in the chat, as well as the summer camp registration is in the chat too. And if you ever have any questions about either of those 2 events, you can't find the answers online, then you can just call or text the school's phone number, and I'll do my best to answer those questions.
She's the boss. She's the boss. Handles everything for me. Thank you. That's my boss. Okay. And so we also have we plan to do also a chi retreat, and in New York. It's not New York. It's Connecticut. It's what's the place called? I forgot the place. It's Eastover. It's a big mansion. It's a friend's mansion, and it's nearby Williams College in Connecticut. What is the name of that city? I forgot. Anyhow, okay, we'll put that information out later. What?
I think it's Lennox, isn't that what?
Oh, Lennox, that's right, Lennox. She remembered. See, all these names I forgot very quickly. Lennox, that's correct. The Lennox, that's right. Everybody, probably a lot of people know Williams College. Williams College is #1, and college for literature, for general studies in the United States. And the rank, whatever. I rank DeRu Academy is the best. in healing. All right. I'm just joking with you guys. All right. And have a beautiful night. For some people, have a beautiful day.
Thanks, Shifu.
Dr. Shu.
Madison.
Thanks, Shifu.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Shifu.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Shifu.
Shifu, Madison.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.